I am Loki of Asgard, and I am burdened with glorious purpose.
Loki episode 1 is finally here, and it was amazing. What's going on? It's me, Jacob, and this is going to be my review for Loki episode 1. There were so many things, so many details, so many things in this episode packed into one episode, and I'm going to go over all those details right now. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, definitely hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment. Let us know down below, what was your favorite part of the episode? What did you like the most? What do you want to see more of? Spoilers, whatever you want to talk about, let us know down below. I'm going to get into heavy spoilers, so spoiler alert now. I'm going to do a full review, the full episode from start to finish, go over all the details, things you may have missed, things you may have not caught, just go over all of it. It starts off exactly where it left off in Endgame, where Loki gets the Tesseract over some kind of timey-wimey stuff the Avengers are doing to stop Thanos. They have to go back and collect the Infinity Stones. In doing so, they drop the Tesseract, Loki grabs the Tesseract, and he disappears. And this is where Phase 4 is going to start. Now, it starts off just like Phase 1 started off, just like how the Marvel series started off. Loki's just going to pop in the desert. He's confused. He's in the sand. And it's the same way, very symbolic to how Iron Man, started off the series. Just, he's in the desert. He's, looking around. But now we have the anti-hero. We have it here with Loki. This is how the show's going to start off. He just gets up. He's spouting off his nonsense. I'm a god. I'm the, blah, blah, blah. Loki, respect who I am. The time police show up, the TBA, and they just shut that shit down immediately and say, no, you're coming with us. They slap a little collar on his neck, and they can just adjust his time, do whatever they need to do. They adjust it to 1/16th the time. He gets hit in the face, and he feels it at real time, moving in that slow motion. It's just a crazy torture device. They can just use it for whatever they want to use it for. He gets arrested. They bring him. They have a doorway they can just walk through. They're in their pocket dimension in some kind of universe at the end of time where they can just control everything, and they're just watching the whole timeline, how it unfolds. They have this building. It's set up like a DMV. They have to process Loki in here when they arrest him. So they arrest him. They're bringing him in, and they show this technology and how some things work. That collar, not only does it adjust time, it can loop time. So when he tries to run away, tries to escape, they can press a button, and he loops right back to the position where he was. So if he's here, they can start it, and he runs away, they loop him right back to that position. Now it's that position in space, not that position in time. That may be important. I don't know. We'll put a pin in it. So they're processing him. He has to check in the Tesseract. He has the Tesseract still with him, and he has to check it into the clerk. So he drops it off to the clerk. The clerk's like, what is this thing? What is this? It's like, a cube. He's like, that's the Tesseract. Sounds stupid. And he kind of chunks it away, and they keep processing him. And he's just rolls like, what? That, he's assuming you would understand the Tesseract is the almighty, Infinity Stone that can do so many things, and it's so powerful. But to them, it's nothing. We'll get into this later, but the Infinity Stones don't mean anything here. So they're processing him. He has to go to a transcription room where they have transcriptions of paper of everything he's ever said throughout the course of his life. Now, being as old as he is and kind of being a villain, he monologues a lot, talks a lot. I would expect more paper there, but I digress. He has to sign off on that paper. He's looking at it. They show it's current, it's real time, because he's like, what? This is ridiculous. I don't want to do this. And they show that being printed out as he's saying it, realizing he just has to do it. It's just annoying paperwork. It's, like the DMV really is. He just does it. Also, side note, there's a cat in the room, but we all know how cats are in there. It could be a Florkin, just putting that out there. In the next visit on his journey, he has to go through this metal detector looking thing, but it's a kind of a soul detector. So he's asked before he walks in, you're not fully robotic, you're born of organic origin, and you probably have a soul. He's like, yeah, to all those things. What do you mean? Not robotic? Not most people know they're robotic, or not most people know they have a soul? Or then he starts questioning, do I not know if I am? And he doesn't know, but you find out almost immediately. He walks through it, ding, there's your temporal aura. It's a little picture that pops out, and you can see the aurora on the picture, and it shows, they're going to get into it, but it shows probably like his future, past, present, everything about him, his aura, what kind of person he is. It probably shows that he's a good guy, that Odin's son, being like, this is Loki, Odin's son, He's probably a good one. He's a good variant. He's not like a bad guy, even though he's a bad guy. That's probably what this is going to be later on. We'll get into it. Another pin for the story. This is getting great. I'm really enjoying it. So he's going to the next room. This next room, he's met with two different characters. This comedian guy and a security guard. The comedian guy, he's another variant. Comes from another universe. I don't know what he's there for. He's just there. Security guard's like, you guys need to grab tickets. The first guy, I'm not grabbing a ticket. What is this, a deli? He just goes on through the line. And it's just the two of them there. Loki's like, it's just two of us here. Do I really need to get a ticket? The security guard's like, yeah, grab a ticket. So Loki, is being mature, grabs a ticket, puts it in his pocket, doesn't really think twice of it. And then as you're going through the line, we're all shown this video. It's for the audience. It's just exposition. It's exposition of what's going on. It's very easy to understand. It's a cartoon. It shows the sacred timeline and how things work. Now, I'll explain it real quick. Now, according to this, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but no, a long time ago, there were multiple timelines, multiple, like a multiverse. And in those multiple timelines, some of these timelines, grew to a point where they had such technology, they can explore different timelines and different variants, and they're fighting for supremacy over who is the strongest timeline. So they have all these timelines just battling for supremacy, and this showed multiple, probably like 7 or 8 of them on the screen, all battling for supremacy. And eventually, after that timeline war, one of those timelines won. Obviously it's going to be the timeline they're in. One of those timelines won. They won the supremacy war, and they're now the main timeline, the sacred timeline, the one that you have to follow. And for there never to be a war again, and for this timeline to stay peaceful in the way it is, they keep that timeline on check. They have the whole police bureau. The reason why he got arrested for violations on the timeline, they have the whole timeline on check. If there's any kind of variant from the timeline that goes off, just a little bit off, that can spout any other kind of timelines that can make anything, they just go shut that down immediately. And like as soon as he teleported with that Tesseract, they were already there to stop that, shut that down. But he got arrested for it. He's there. He disagrees. But that's for him to bring up in court. He's watching this video. He sees how there's like an everyman, like a guy character. He's just the orange guy. He's just a regular guy, goes to work every day, and he can vary off his timeline. And by doing so, he can be like a pirate or some weird guy or whatever the case is. And it can make some kind of ultra timeline, and they don't want that to happen. They stop it. They show all of this in the video. They explain it to the audience. They explain it to him. We understand it. He disagrees with it, but he kind of understands it. Now we're at the end. Show your ticket. The first guy's like, I don't got my ticket. The guy never gave me a ticket, blah, blah, blah. He gets zapped. They hit him with the baton, and it resets his timeline or whatever. He just vaporizes right there in the spot. It is terrifying. It brings, like, reality right there. Where's your ticket? Loki gets his ticket out so quick. All of us would have got our tickets out so quick. He gets his ticket out. He's like, I got my ticket. So then he has to go to court. They're talking to him, hey, you're being arrested for violations on the timeline. What you're doing is against the timeline. You're never supposed to escape. You're never supposed to be, whatever it is you think you're going to be. You're just Loki. You're supposed to die. And he's like, I don't agree with any of this stuff. I don't agree with your timeline. I don't agree with any of this at all. But whatever he says doesn't matter. They don't care. They're just there to arrest him and reset his timeline. But before they reset his timeline, they were met with Owen Wilson's character, Morbius, and he just talks to the judge. I don't know how he does it, some kind of charm he has, but he just gets Loki off. Like, Loki can come with me. I need him to work on a case, blah, blah, blah. Can I have him? All right, if he's willing to work with you, you can use him for now. And it works. So he gets Loki. But before we get too far into that, earlier we were just shown Owen Wilson's character again, Morbius. He was in 1549 France. There was a child there chewing bubblegum out of the timeline. There's some kind of variant situation. He's looking for a variant of Loki. The kid points over to a picture on the wall of some kind of horned demon looking character saying this is the person here doing the stuff. Obviously it's meant to be Loki. We're looking for a variant of Loki. We see on the file that he has of this version of Loki. Now this is the Loki that was raised by the frost giants. It's a different Loki. It's not Loki Odin's son. It's going to be one raised by the frost giants. So it's a completely different Loki, another variant. We don't know anything else about this Loki except for it's another crazy variant out there that this Time Bureau can't even catch on some completely different level where they need to even get this Loki on their team to help them catch this other Loki. So here we are. Owen Wilson has Loki, brings him into a room, kind of wants to just talk to him, feel him out, see where he is. Why is he evil? Is he going to be like this other Loki we're catching, or is he different? They have that temporal aura. They kind of see that he's probably on the good side, and they want to work with him, and they've seen his timeline, how he, reconciled things with his father and his brother. We'll get into this here in a second. He's going to realize this here in a second, how he sacrificed himself for the better of the universe the best way he could, even though it didn't really matter. The snap still happened. But this might be on a timeline of a changed Loki, and we want to see if we can use him to help catch this completely different Loki, a way different variant from, way out there. And we're going to see where this goes. We're talking to Loki, we're feeling him out, we're showing him different clips of his life. He's very combative. They have where you see in movies where they have a main clash and the main character loses, doesn't agree, disappears, goes and has to find themselves and come back to understand. We just go through that here real quick. So let's get into it. He's talking to Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson's just showing him all these clips of his life. He disagrees with all of it, how he's supposed to die, how his mother dies, all this crazy stuff. He actually shows him how his mother actually was killed. It was him trying to give up Thor's position in the castle, but accidentally giving his mother's position up in the castle, and the Dark Elves kill her instead, and it was all his fault. Owen Wilson throws it in his face. He's like, what do you do, kill me like you did your mother? And he blows up. He freaks out. They get into it for a second. No, there's nothing really Loki can do. He can just get his position reset, but Loki ends up escaping, doing his, the Loki style, being all mischief, steals the thing, ends up escaping. On his escape, he runs into the clerk, and he's like, all right, clerk, you have my Tesseract. Where's my Tesseract? He's like, I don't know what that is. What do you mean? He's like, give me the Tesseract. He threatens him by gutting him like a fish. The guy doesn't even know what a fish is. He just sits there in that office in a completely different timeline, so he doesn't know. But he threatens him with death. He knows what death is. Okay, I'll show you where I put it. It's in my junk drawer full of other stuff. He brings Loki to the junk drawer. He opens it up, says, there's your Tesseract that's in there. Loki's looking in that drawer, and his mind's blown. It's full of Infinity Stones, all different kinds, just tons of them, different variants too, multiple Time Stones, Soul Stones, Power Stones, all different kinds of stones in there. Old baseball card, poker chip, a bunch of different things, a lot of Easter eggs in there, but just so many Infinity Stones. And then he realizes these Infinity Stones don't work here. The Infinity Stone only works in the universe it was created in that universe. So being wherever they are now, all these stones are completely useless. They don't work. The clerk is like, yeah, we get these all the time. So probably there's a lot of variants out there who grab an Infinity Stone, cause some kind of chaos, and end up getting arrested immediately by the time police. So many of them that there are so many different Infinity Stones that not most, but some of them are using them as paperweights in that office. That's how many Infinity Stones there are. Just so many of them.
How do you have these?
Oh, we actually got a lot of those. Yeah, some of the guys use them as paperweights.
And Loki's just like, well, there's nothing I can do. His plan to escape was to grab the Infinity Stone and get out of there. Now realizing that Infinity Stone doesn't work, none of them work. There's so many of them here that they're just paperweights. He basically just inside just gives up. Now they show up, they're gonna arrest him, but before he gets arrested, obviously Loki style, he hits his wristband, he escapes again, he goes back to where he came from, just that same position where he has access to all the Avengers movies, all 23 of them on Disney Plus, and he's sitting there in that room, and he's watching Disney Plus, and he's watching all the Avengers movies. Obviously, he skips the Captain America ones and all these other ones. He just watches the ones about himself. He watches Thor 1, Thor 2. He'll watch Ragnarok. He'll watch Infinity War, and he'll watch Endgame. But he's hit with a lot of powerful emotions. He sees through his timeline, as he's sitting there watching his timeline, that he actually was able to reconcile things with his father. And his father, considered him his son again. He was able to come to terms with what he did with his mother. And he was able to come to terms with his brother and become his brother again. And the guy that he was going to be evil for, back in, Thor 2, he saw how that guy turned on him, Thanos turned on him and choked the life out of him for that gem. He saw all of it, how it was all meaningless, how he actually made the Avengers, how when he killed Phil Coulson and he literally got that team together to avenge his death, He made the Avengers. That was one of his purposes in life, was to make the Avengers. That's why he was allowed to act so crazy in that movie, in the Avengers movie. They needed him there just to be a side villain. It was all supposed to happen. And after seeing that and that really setting in him, it looks like he's now ready to help. Owen Wilson's character walks in the room, Mobius, and he's like, just, I got the situation. They talk it out. He realizes, I don't want to be bad. I just do these things. And that's kind of like what his character, that's who he's supposed to be in the time. That's just what he's supposed to be. He's just supposed to be a mischief character, and that's just who it is. But he wants to help out. He wants to, try to live up to what he saw in those videos. He sacrificed his life to save his brother in the universe. He reconciled things with his father. He forgave himself for what happened with his mother. He grew a lot over the course of his life. And after seeing that, he didn't actually live it, so he's not really that same character. But now he knows those experiences. He knows what the audience knows, but he's still his own character. He kind of wants to, help out, maybe live up to it. I'm really excited to see where this is going to go. We need a Loki to catch a Loki. This is going to be crazy. I can't wait to see episode 2. I know you can't wait to see episode 2 as well. If you stuck this far into the video, I really appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys at the next video.